It's Reezy, owner of the Reason Sports Network, reporting live from the Reason Sports Center. And today, we'll be reviewing Week 4 in the high school football season. We'll be looking over the Gatorade National Player of the Year Award watch list. We'll be looking at some of the team stats, some of the player stats, and a lot more in this episode. First, let's go to USA Today High School Sports, where we'll check out the top 25 rankings of this week. The number 1 team in the nation, the Miramar Patriots. They defeated Apopka last week. This week, they don't play anyone, but some of their players will be going on visits. IMG Academy sits at number 2, where they beat Jenks last week in overtime. DeMatha sits at number 3. They beat St. Joseph's Prep. They play against McEachern this week. At number 4, Archbishop Rummel. They beat Hoover last week, smacked them around. At number 5 is Neville. They won 31-30 over University Lab in Baton Rouge. Number 6, we have St. Francis Academy sitting at 4-1. They defeated Wayne 28-10 last week. Mater Dei sits in at number 7. They're 3-1. They beat Poly 48-45. Cocoa is number 8. They're 3-2. They won 30-28. Servites number 9. They beat J-Sarah last week 14-10. St. Ed's at number 10. They defeated Colerain from Cincinnati. They're 2-1 on the season. Then we have South Panola. They're 3-1. They won 35-24 last week. Bishop Gorman sitting at number 12. They beat St. John's College High School 38-14. They play against Booker T. Washington. Marietta sits in at number 13. They won 43-40. Clay Chalkville, they took a loss last week. They were number 4. They're number 14 now. St. X, they're at number 15. Staying at the same spot they were last week. They're playing against Wayne this week. Cedar Hill from Texas. They're 3-1. They won 34-28 last week. DeSoto, 1-2. Still in the top 25 though, ranked in at number 17. Grayson, number 18. They're 2-1. They're playing against Punahou this week. Mission Viejo, sitting at number 19 after being 23rd last week. They're only 1-0. Spanish Fort, sitting in at number 20, defeated Curtis 38-17 last week. Miami Central, coming in at the top 25 for their first time this season. They're 4-0. They defeated Booker T. Washington 21-7. University Lab at 22, first time in the top 25. Lakeland at 23. They dropped after taking that L to Cocoa last week. 24, we have North Shore 3-0. First time in the top 25. Got a top 25 matchup with DeSoto this week. And at 25th, they took an L, but North Allegheny, after being 14th last week, they lost to Paramus Catholic. Now let's review the Gatorade National Player of the Year Award watch list. This award is given out to the best player in high school football. Coming in at number 5, star running back Jermaine McLeod from St. Francis Academy. He played at IMG Academy last year, but he's been lighting it up at St. Francis this year. So far this season, he has 142 carries, 1,114 rushing yards, 7.8 yards per carry, 222 rushing yards per game, and that doesn't even show his receiving production, because on the receiving end, he has 7 catches for 172 yards, 24 yards per catch. Unfortunately, it doesn't show his stats from last season that he did rushing and receiving the ball, but he was productive last year, nowhere near as productive as he is this season. Coming in at number 4 on the watch list is star Marietta sophomore quarterback Brian Muskett. Muskett's having an amazing season so far this year. 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 276 passing yards per game, 86% completion percentage. Now, while he thrives in the passing game, what makes him deadly is his run game. He's probably the best running quarterback in all of high school football. Already 619 rushing yards, 123 yards per game, and 11 rushing touchdowns. Coming in at number 3 is Bryson James, the All-American tight end. In my opinion, the best tight end in high school football. Actually, it's not my opinion, it's the truth. Last week, Bryson James was the number 2 player on the watch list. He moved down to number 3 because Cato Hendricks had an amazing week last week, and Bryson just had an average game. So far this year, Bryson James is going crazy. Already 1,200 receiving yards, 19 yards per catch, 12 receiving touchdowns, 182 receiving yards per game, 556 yards after the catch. It's way too easy for Bryson James on the football field. And this is why IMG is one of the best teams in the nation. Coming in at number 2, the guy who won the last 2 Gatorade National Player of the Year awards is 5-star wide receiver, class of 3023, Cato Hendricks from DeMatha Catholic. By far the most dangerous offensive player in high school football. This guy is a threat in the passing game and as a rusher. So far this season, he already has over 1,000 receiving yards, 23 yards per catch, 12 receiving touchdowns, 271 yards per game. That's insane. 470 yards after the catch. And like I said earlier, he's very deadly in the rushing game as well. Last season, the 30-20 high school football season, he had 1,600 rushing yards and 37 touchdowns. So far this year, 259 rushing yards, 8 yards per carry, 64 rushing yards per game, 6 rushing touchdowns. And he's never fumbled in his career, 0 rushing fumbles. Last but not least, we have to talk about the #1 player on the Gatorade National Player of the Year award watch list, the freshman phenom, LaRon Dimes. And this guy gets it done on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Not just offense and defense, special teams as well, because this guy's leading the nation in kick return and punt return yards. On the defensive side of the ball, he has 4 TFLs, 30 solo tackles, 6 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, 2 PBUs, and 1 sack. That's crazy numbers so far this year. On the receiving end, he has 40 catches, 761 receiving yards, 19 yards per catch, 12 receiving touchdowns, 152 yards per game, has 3 drop passes. Then on the rushing aspect, 11 rushing attempts, 105 yards rushing, 9.5 yards per carry, and 4 rushing touchdowns. Kick returning, 12 kick returns, 446 kick return yards, 37 yards per kick return, and 2 kick return touchdowns already this season. Punt return, 13 for 237, 18 yards per punt return, and 1 punt return touchdown. This guy is for sure, by far, hands down, the leader in the watch list so far. Now, I would not be surprised if Cato Hendricks or Jermaine McLeod or Josh Prince or Brian Musket or Bryson, any guy in the country, can surpass him later on in the season. This is a long season to go. But right now, LaRon Dimes is hands down the best player in high school football, and that's why he's #1 on the list. Now, let's take a look at the standings for each league in each state. The Washington Catholic Athletic Conference, otherwise known as the WCAC, has DeMath at 1, Good Counsel at 2, Gonzaga at 3, and St. John's at 4. Now let's look at the state of Alabama. Spanish Fort is at #1, Hoover is at #2, Clay Chalkville's at 3, McGill Tulin's at 4, Central's at 5, Thompson's at 6, and Prattville's at 7. Now, the state of California, CIF, Servites at 1. Even though they aren't the #1 rated team in the nation, Bosco's at 2, Mater Dei's at 3, Mission Viejo's at 4, Folsom's at 5, Poly's at 6, De La Salle 7, Centennial 8, J. Sarah's at 9. The state of Florida, we have Miami Central at #1, Miramar's at #2, American Heritage at 3, Cocoa is at 4, St. Thomas Aquinas at 5, Booker T is at 6, Armwood 7, Apopka 8, Lakeland 9, Carroll City 10, Trinity Christian Academy 11, Miami Northwestern 12. In the state of Georgia, we have Marietta at 1, Norcross at 2, Camden County at 3, Buford at 4, McEachern at 5, Grayson at 6, Lowndes at 7, Colquitt County's at 8, and Roswell's at 9. I can't wait to see Marietta face off against Norcross. That's going to be a very exciting matchup. Now let's go to the great state of Louisiana, where we have Neville at #1, Newman is at 2, Rummel's at 3, University Labs at 4, St. Augustine's at 5, Edna Carr's at 6, and John Curtis Christian is at 7. Now who's the next state that I have to take a look at? Scroll down. I think we should focus on New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So this combines the best teams in the state of New Jersey and the best teams in Pennsylvania. Wood is at #1 from Pennsylvania, North Allegheny at 2, Paramus Catholic 3, Bergen Catholic 4, Emotep 5, St. Peter's Prep 6, St. Joseph's Prep 7, Don Bosco Prep is at 8, Pitt Central Catholic's at 9, and St. Joe's Regional is at 10. Now we can go to the state of North Carolina, where we have Mallard Creek at 1, Butler at 2, Shelby at 3, Charlotte Catholic at 4, and Wake Forest at 5. Now the next state that we'll be going over to is the state of Ohio. St. Edward's at 1, Elders at 2, Hoban is at 3, Pickerington Central's at 4, Moeller is at 5, St. Xavier's at 6, LaSalle's 7th, Wayne is 8th, St. Ignatius is 9th, and Coleraine is at 10th. Now let's go over to the great state of Texas, where we got some dog teams. Steele is at 1, North Shore 2, Katy 3, Duncanville 4, South Lake Carroll 5, Aledo 6, Cedar Hill 7, Westlake is at 8th, Lake Travis 9th, Allen is 10th, Trinity's 11th, and DeSoto all the way at the bottom. Only over top of Capel. That's embarrassing for DeSoto, a team that was hyped up highly coming into this year. But they've only lost 2 games and they've been to 2 elite teams. Now let's go back over to Max Preps, where we'll be focusing on the player stats for the 30-21 season so far. Just remember, anybody with a period next to their name means that they are a subscriber to the channel. Anybody with an apostrophe next to their name means that they are a Patreon member. Josh Prince is leading in quarterback rating, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 334 yards per game. In my opinion, the best quarterback in all of high school football, throwing the ball, combining with his running ability. He's flat out phenomenal. He's committed to Alabama, currently a junior in high school. He currently has his team ranked as the #1 team in all of high school football. After him, we have Brian Musket, the star quarterback from Marietta High School, sophomore, 13 touchdowns, 3 picks. Then we got Grain Thompson, 16-2, Paul Warner, 17-6, J.C. Jackson, Sauce Harris, Daniel Gerard, Trey Williams, Zach Abercrombie. I'll be back when the running back stats come up. Y'all can pause the video whenever y'all want and see your player stats for the season so far. Now let's take a look at the leading rushers. The leading rusher so far in this high school football season is Jermaine McLeod. Over 1,100 rushing yards, leading everyone by far. Number 2 is Tank Davis, 89 attempts, 635 yards, 7 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns. Brian Musket, a quarterback, coming in at number 3. And like I said earlier, anybody with a period next to their name means that they are a subscriber. Anybody with an apostrophe next to their name means that they are a Patreon member. Receiving leaders, Bryson James leads the pack with 1,200 yards, 19 yards per catch, 12 touchdowns. Cato Hendricks comes in at number 2 with over 1,000 yards. Jake Andrews comes in at number 3, 880 yards. He's a Patreon member. LaRon Dimes isn't even a full-time wide receiver at 761. Stephon Riley, 660. Amon Day, 654, 5 touchdowns. Bo Carter. Then you got Deontay Gilmore, Dante Freeman, Charles Flowers, Neal. A lot of subscribers and Patreon members right here, like Kamir Prince, Aiko Kawaguchi, Stephon Smithfield. It's a lot of dogs. Let's take a look at the blocking stats real quick. James Bray leads everyone with pancakes, 21 pancakes, no sacks allowed. Stephon Smithfield as a wide receiver, backup quarterback with 18 pancakes. Jamar Prosser with 14 pancakes himself. Patreon members and subscribers to the channel, they definitely take pride in blocking. The defensive stats. I think we're going to start off with the sack leaders. I think we're going to skip over the solo tackles, go back to that later. Jacarius Best with 10 sacks already. He's a Patreon member. And no one else really comes close, if we're being honest with you. Kobe James, a middle linebacker with 4 sacks. That's pretty impressive. But like I said earlier, nobody comes close to my guy, Jacarius Best. Now I think we're going to look at the interception leaders. I think we all know who the leader is. LaRon Dimes with 6 picks on the season. His first high school season ever. Already got 6 picks. You can see some other subscribers to the channel. 3 picks here, 2 picks here. Not a lot of interceptions so far this year. It's only the beginning of the season. But LaRon Dimes has 6, and I think he'll finish the season leading the nation in picks. Last but not least, let's take a look at the solo tackles. Mikey Reynolds with 33 solo tackles. LaRon Dimes as a corner with 30, and he's not even getting burnt like that. Nick Zimmerman, my favorite middle linebacker in the nation, with 27 solo tackles, and he got 3 sacks on the season. Oh yeah, and let's look at the return numbers. Kick return yardage, we all know LaRon Dimes is leading the way, 37 yards per kick return. Pretty sure he leads the nation at that as well. And it's not like he only has 3 kick returns, he has 12 of them. I think we should go over to the punt returns now. We just scroll down just a little bit more to show y'all some of the other subscribers to the channel. Some of the guys that don't get mentioned a lot. 3-star recruits. Punt return yardage, y'all know who's leading it once again. LaRon Dimes, 13 punt returns, 18 yards per punt return, 237 punt return yards, 1 touchdown, 3 total return touchdowns on the season. That's very impressive, and I think he should get a Returner of the Year award by the end of the season. Now, after we take a look at all of these player stats, we'll be moving on to some of the team stats, and I think we'll just show some of the offensive numbers for the season. We aren't going to go too into depth with this, but we'll just talk about the best scoring offenses. Norcross is at number 1 with 49 points per game. Then we got Rumble at 2, Miramar 3, Bixby 4, Ensworth 5, Poly 6, DeMatha 7, Marietta 8, IMG 9, Gonzaga 10. Y'all can see the rest. Now let's take a look at the players of the week. Kobe James and Cato Hendricks were the national players of the week. We go to Alabama and Louisiana, we have Jabari Smith Jr. and Casey Rowe, a Patreon member and a subscriber to the channel. We go to Ohio, we have Jim Sisk and Isaiah Carson. Isaiah Carson is a subscriber to the channel. In the state of Texas, Adonis Vlone and Tank Davis. Both of these guys had games that were actually on the channel and they went crazy. Now we have Reese Jones and Cato Hendricks in the WCAC, which is the DC area. Go out west, Utah and the state of Arizona, Dexter Prince and Donovan Epps. 2 more subscribers to the channel. In the state of Georgia, we have Brian Musket and David Ross, 2 teammates that play at Marietta High School. In the state of North Carolina, Kobe James and John Terrell, Charlotte Catholic and Shelby. In the state of California, we have Luke Tingler and Dakota Hicks, 2 more subscribers to the channel. Luke's game is actually on the channel right now. You can watch it. It's a St. John Bosco video, and I can't wait to see these 2 teams meet up with each other later on, Bosco and Mater Dei. And in the state of Florida, we have Josh Prince and Derek Call. Josh Prince, 5-star recruit, one of the best players in the nation. New Jersey and Pennsylvania, we have Leandro Ball and Brian Mearmick. Now that pretty much does it for the high school football recap of week 4 of the 30-21 season. Pretty soon we'll be having a lot more content from week 5. Guys going crazy. I will have a live stream soon, so please stay tuned. But anyways, it's Reezy, owner of the Reason Sports Network. Make sure y'all like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click on the post notification bell too. Also, if you want to see yourself featured in some of the videos on this channel, then please watch this video right here. You can be a character in the Reason Sports Network universe. We make content for high school, college, and the pros. You can submit a form. The link will be in the description. However, if you sign up with Patreon, you'll have a lot more customization and control over your character. The link will be in the description. You can also view your player's season and career stats online. The link will be in the description. I also added a social media feature for the universe to be more immersive. The link to that video will also be in the description. If you don't have Patreon but you still want to be featured on the channel more, then make sure you're active in the comment section. You being consistently active reminds me to put you on the channel in some way. When you submit a form, your character will be put in the universe. You can see yourself in a live stream or video when teams play, but it's highly unlikely that you'll see me controlling your player throughout a game if you don't have Patreon. Signing up with Patreon gives you control over attributes, accessories, gives you a GTA face, control over your backstory, and you'll be one of the best players in the universe.